fellow nurse entrepreneurs. One of the things that I've always wanted to do was I always wanted to help nurses work from anywhere, pretty much have that flexibility, pretty much have that freedom so that they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Joining VP Nursing was one of the best decisions that I could have ever made. If I was to have a regret, it would be that I didn't join sooner.
If they wanted to be with their children, if they wanted to be with their families, they can do exactly what they wanted to do.
Ola is the type of person, she's not going to let you stay the same. The way she levels up her clients in every area of their lives.
I could not have imagined being a nurse with my own business, being in this space with so many amazing people, with a coach that 1,000,000% cares about what my outcome is going to be.
And so here at VP Nursing, we teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money, owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching, consulting, and service-based businesses. And so now we're at the beach and we're working at the beach and we're having a great time. We're doing a brand photo shoot. It's an amazing time. So if you want to learn how to work from anywhere around the world, creating that flexibility, creating that freedom for yourself, but monetizing the knowledge that you already have, join us at VP Nursing Business Academy. Good morning, everyone. So I just really wanted to come on this morning and chat with you about how your nursing license does not build wealth, but your brain does. Okay. So let's jump into the conversation. Before we jump into the conversation though, I want you to like, share, and comment on the video because we're going to be delving into some great nuggets. I'm going to be giving you some stories about how nurses have built wealth with their brains. Okay. And so the reality is that your license pays your bill, but your brain builds your future. Okay. So this is a powerful truth because we as nurses, we have for, I want to say it's 13 years straight, have been deemed the nursing we've deemed the profession that is the most respected, right? You know, the most trusted profession. However, this is the reality, is that your nursing license gives you skills, credibility, and trust, but it's never designed to build generational wealth. That's your job, okay? And it wasn't until I realized that I was sitting on ideas that really could change my life and change my bank account that really things started to shift. Now, I want you to realize that it took me a while to understand this. It took me a while to understand that this was the case and that I even wanted this, right? Because I love me some traumas. You know, I worked in the emergency department for about 15 years. Some of you know I've been a nurse for over 30 years. I'm the #1 nurse business coach for nurse coaches, consultants, and service-based providers. And one of the things that I really did not understand was how I could help the nursing profession outside of the nursing profession. Nobody taught me in nursing this particular thing that Darius Daniels said the other day. He said that exposure awakens things in you that you didn't know you wanted because you didn't know they existed. I was like, oh, that is so good, because that's me, right? That is what I had in my, like, I didn't even know it existed. And so it was the exposure that really changed it. And this is the deal. This is the deal. You always want to do what's right. And I remember the reason why I even came across this was because I was at John Maxwell conference and I started seeing things that I had never ever seen before. And then I went to another conference and there were nurses, and it was a nursing conference, and the nurse was speaking and she had a coaching program. And I was like, she has this coaching program. How can I do that? And so it started opening me up. Now I have more business professionals who I'm going to conferences now, but it was then that I understood this can really be different. You see, this is the real difference. Your license is proof that you can learn to lead. Okay. Now, this is the deal. I started as an LPN. I was an LPN for about 10 years. And the only reason why I went back to school was because I knew that I wanted to be in a charge nurse role. Like I wanted to be more in leadership. And of course, when I became an RN, I was immediately put into a charge nurse role. And then, you know, in the hospital, as you know, what happens is you are told to go back and to get all these degrees. You know, they have these pathways to leadership. They have the magnet program, which, and you know, because you have to have a certain number of BSN prepared nurses in your hospital in order to be a part of Magnet. And so because of that, I knew that I wanted to go back. So I went back and got my BSN. And then somebody just introduced the idea of going back to get your master's. So I was like, well, I'm not really doing anything else. So let's just go back and get my master's. So I went back to school, got my master's. And then I started thinking about what I needed to do from there, because what was happening was I was kind of stuck in the same positioning. And so in order for me to, because as a Black woman, I really wanted to really lead, and I really wanted to have people understand, the power in my leadership. And so I went back to school and got another degree. But what I found was that because I thought that just because I got the degree that I was going to automatically get these positions that I wanted. However, that's not what happened. It ended up that I didn't get that. So I was, I got a leadership position, like I became a manager, but it really wasn't, when you pull back that corporate veil, it really was a lot of different things that I didn't really understand and that I didn't know that were going on behind that corporate system. And it's not, it's not about blaming the system. It's about leading differently, right? So leading from the outside as opposed to leading from the inside. And this is the real deal, is that nursing is one of the hardest degrees that you can ever have. And so the discipline that you have created within the nursing profession, that's the discipline that you need to create whenever you're building your business. Okay. And so you need to know that. Now, this is another thing. The real ceiling isn't the job, it's the limits that you put on your mind. Okay. Because a lot of times what happens is we have these limits that we put on our mind that we cannot make it outside of nursing. Your skills already have value, right? You just have to position them for that. And that's one of the things that we help you do in the program. Now, just think about, patient education, problem solving skills. The deal is that you are solving problems within the healthcare system already. And one of the things that you can do is you can come out and own your own business, so you own your own time. You see, this is what happened with one of my clients. She came from working for the bedside. Like she thought that she worked at the bedside for a number of years. And then she went traveling because she thought that would kind of free up her time and free her up to do things. But what she realized is she was just on the road all the time, and that she was not free to travel. I mean, she was not free to spend more time with her family, which was ideally what she wanted to do. And then so she came and we started talking about what she wanted to do. And so she started talking about it. And she actually gave the idea. She started talking to one of her friends about it. And when she started talking to this friend about it, the friend told her, and it was somebody she respected within her profession. The friend told her that was not something that anybody was going to pay for. And see, and this is the deal, is that you have to understand that your skills are transferable, right? They have transferable value when you frame them right. And so she came to the call and she was very tearful. And within that next week, she had closed a 6-figure client because we gave her the ability. This is the thing. Whenever you want to be in a almost like a sisterhood or a brotherhood, you want to be in community with other people who are thinking very differently, because when you're in the community where you think differently, it really, really changes how you show up in the world, right? Now, you have to treat your brain like an asset, okay? And it will pay you like one, right? Don't wait for permission. Build while you work. And so one of the things that I did was because I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow, but I am saying build your business while you work your shifts, right? Because the reality is that I built my business while I was working shifts at the hospital. While I was in leadership, I was building my business at the same time. And so one of the things that I did was and this is something that I encourage you to do if you are in a position such as this and you're building your own company. You want to take all aspects of the company that you currently work for off of all your social media. So for a long time, people didn't even know I worked for the company that I work for, or the hospital that I work for, because I never had it on my social media. So I wasn't, whatever I did was whatever I did. I didn't misrepresent them in any way. And the reality is that I'm trying to build my own. I'm not trying to elevate you as my employer. I am trying to build my own company. And so what I did was I started building it, and then I was unapologetic about it. I remember I was at the beach. I never forget this. I was at the beach, and this person who was supposed to be a friend, what she did was she said to me, she said, Dr. V, well, she didn't say Dr. V because she calls me Viola. And at the time, I don't even think I had my doctoral degree. But what she did was she got upset because I was showing people how I was just working from the beach. Like I could work from anywhere. That's the thing about it, is that you can work from anywhere. And so I was showing people how I was working from anywhere and doing my own thing. And I remember her coming in and commenting under the post, and she was like, you're taking nurses from the bedside. And so I was talking to this man yesterday, and we were trying to buy. I wasn't trying to buy a car; somebody else was trying to buy a car. But we were talking to the guy who was selling the car, and I asked him. I said, because we were talking about my journey to become a nurse, and one of the things that he said, I asked him. I said, "What is a food that you don't like?" Now, some of them people may not know this, but the food that he said that he didn't like was chitlins, right? And I said, so if I presented you with some chitlins, would you want to eat the chitlins? He said, no, I wouldn't want to eat the chitlins. And I said, that's the same way that it is when it comes to, building your own company. Some people want to build their own company. Some people want to stay at the bedside, and that's great and wonderful. But I'm giving them the option of either staying at the bedside or either coming. The only reason why people are interested is because what happens is they're interested in it. It's not enough to think it. You have to package it. And this is so key. You have to package it. You have to sell it. And you have to position it for yourself, right? Because your ideas become income when you take action. Okay. Now, this is the deal. I had a client that came in, and she felt incredibly just scared about, launching her product. And one of the things about nursing, and I think that this is a thing across the board about nursing, is that when you are a nurse, sometimes you feel like things are imperfect, or you feel like that they are, you just can't move forward because they're not perfect like you want them to be. But this is the deal. Action trumps perfection every time. You have to be very intentional about moving. That's the thing that trumps any imperfection that you may have. I remember a lady that was in the hospital, and I remember I was putting it, because we put out a lot of content every day. And so I was putting out this content, and there was a misspelled word. Well, we had put this, it wasn't like we wrote it in on the social media site, right? And we could just change it easily. Like it was a Canva post, and we would have to go all across our social media and take down each of those Canva posts. And she was like, this word is spelled wrong. And I said, okay. And so then the next day, this was when I actually worked at corporate, and she said to me, she said, she said, did you take that post down? And I was like, well, no. And so she said, well, it decreases your credibility. I was like, I have a whole doctorate degree in nursing. And as a nurse, nothing decreases my credibility. It has nothing to do with anything. Like I'm trying to change the world. A misspelled word is not going to matter. And so I don't worry about imperfection. And I had a coach that told me this one time. He said that if your processes are not breaking, he said, you're not growing fast enough. And so I had to embrace the breaking of processes at times to ensure that I was good there, right? So my question is for you, what is the solution that you could provide, right? What is the solution that could change someone's life? What is the solution that could literally change your life? Because it is nothing like, I want you to hear this. It is nothing like hearing the cha-ching in the middle of the night, okay? Because you have had your system set up right. You have got your processes set up right. And you have the ability to make money on autopilot. Like that is sweet, right? And so you want to be able to do that. I had one of my clients, she said she was on a train, like she was writing a deposition for these lawyers, and she was on a train from here, like it was a 2-hour train ride, and she made $3,000. Like that is gold, right? And so understanding what your license brings you, because any area that you have worked in, you can optimize that area, right? And so, like if you're a leadership, like you've been in leadership before, nursing needs leadership right now. If you've ever been burnt out before, I always say that the reason why you go through things is not because you need to, it's not for you. Right? If people understood that the reason why they go through things is not for them, it's for the other person that they're going to help, then it really changes the game. You get out of it a lot quicker. You feel better a lot faster because you understand that this is just a test for you to have a testimony so that you can move people from point A to point B and sometimes get paid for it. So your ideas pay you long term. So I want you to understand that. So we can teach you how to turn your knowledge into your income. So your brain becomes your best paid asset. So if you want to learn to work from anywhere around the world and unleash your massive income in your business and own your own time, you can join us for our next masterclass. And we would love to teach you how, because we have clients that are doing this every single solitary day. And I ask that you like, share, comment, all of that for this podcast, because we want to get the word out that nurses are killing it. They are making lots and lots of money. You have an amazing rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.